The 168th Eternal Derby in Belgrade takes place today between Partizan Belgrade and Red Star Belgrade. Um, Red Star currently sit first with 18 points, and Partizan, I believe, is ninth with 11 points. Partizan, the last two matches, have scored goals very late in the 88th and I think the 94th minute to take the wins. So those two wins obviously very important for them. Otherwise, it'd be a much different situation now. And like the 7 point lead might sound like a lot. It's really not Partizan. If Partizan wins this one, it's down to, I think it's a 7 point lead now. So it's down to four. And then, there's still two more derbies, one in Rajko Mitic and then in the playoff once the time rolls around. But anyways, wanted to get into the match a little bit. Obviously, Red Star having bowed out of the Champions League after losing to Maccabi Haifa, Dejan Stankovic leaving the bench, Miloš Milojevic coming, Ohio Wanfo leaving, signing some new players since Dejan has left. So there's been a lot going on in the last, I guess, week and a bit for Red Star. I always kind of like to start with the lineups. I really don't know what to expect here. The back four, I think, is going to be Milan Odic if he's fit to play, along with Dragovic, Milunovic, and then Irakovic on the right block as a right back. I wouldn't be shocked if Marko Gobelic starts as a right back and if Irakovic moves in instead of Milunovic. It wouldn't shock me. I don't think it will happen. I think Gobelic, I can't believe I'm saying this, gives Red Star a little bit more going forward as opposed to Irakovic. Because if Irakovic is playing at the right back, then, the Partizan left wingers, they can rule Irakovic, making a difference going forward and creating chances, which is something that Gobelic can do better than Irakovic. Can't believe I actually said that, but it is what it is. In the midfield, I think it's going to be Sonogo and Kanga, with Kangwa coming off the bench. And then, up top, it's going to be Ivanic, Bukhari, and Katai, along with Pešić up top. Pešić had some injury concerns. He should be ready to go. Miloš Milojevic he said something in a conference along the lines of, we can attack Partizan with either one or two strikers. So take that for what you may. The question was also asked about Koulibaly, if he's ready to go. He said even if he could give me 5 minutes, I would take that from him. So expect Koulibaly to be on the bench. Otherwise, there's no significant upgrade at center forward if Pešić can't go entire match. And I don't expect Pešić to go the entire match due to his injury. We'll see how much we could get out of him, 65 minutes. And then ultimately you would have Ben up top, which is, I don't think that's the answer right now. Ben is kind of in a slide of his career, so to say, with his best years behind him. Like I said, Kangwa off the bench. I think Sonogo and Kanga give you a little bit, or Sonogo at least gives you a little bit more of a lot more defensive work as opposed to Kangwa and Kanga. And we saw how that worked out against Maccabi Haifa in the first match, where they didn't offer you anything defensively. They offered you, things going forward, but defensively they didn't offer you much. Bukhari's got to use his speed in this match to get by Urošević or whoever it is that's man marking him. He has speed to burn. He has to use that to his best ability. I think Katai has to be a lot better for Red Star. He's been off in the two matches against Maccabi, and I would say even the two matches against Punic, I don't think he was that great. I think he was okay, but I don't think he was that great. The first match against Maccabi Haifa I thought it was a lot better than what people thought. The second match was, again, just okay. He has 6 goals in 17 matches, I believe, against Partizan, which is second highest tally. He has 10 against Radnički Niš. So take that for what you have, for what you will. He scored 2 in the cup final last season. So he's been really good against Partizan. He scores in a variety of different ways. Close range, long range headed goals that he scored, I believe it was 2 years ago. I think that goal was laid on in like the 85th, 86th minute. So he can do it a variety of different ways. So we're going to need him to step up a little bit because he has struggled, like I said, in the past few matches. Mirko Ivanic as well. Expect big things from him as well. I thought he was good in the second leg against Maccabi Haifa. In the first leg, I think it was a little bit different because he had a lot more defensive things that he had to do, which he honestly always does. He does the dirty work when he has to trek back, and he really does a lot of defensive work for the team. So he has to kind of play both ways and help out Rodic and things like that. So I expect him to do some things as well. Set pieces we have to be careful on because Partizan has scored. I mentioned the 2 matches where they kind of pull it up at the depth. They have scored goals off set pieces, something that we have to be careful with. So I think that's another reason to maybe start Milunovic in there. He's really good in the air. Koulibaly, who has come in, is also really good in the air. Again, I don't expect him to start. I think Pesci is going to start this and see how much we could get out of him, 65, 70 minutes. And then maybe you bring on Koulibaly, and he's a little bit more of a target man. He can probably do it for you in terms of set pieces, defensively and offensively, depending what the score is like. Ricardo, one of their best player, have to closely man mark him. I think we've done that very well the last probably 2 derbies. I think we've done very well man marking him, and we're gonna have to force some of the new guys to beat us. And I think Partizan has brought in a lot of new players. Some of them haven't played many minutes together, so I think for them it's going to be a lot of a gelling kind of thing. And I really don't know if Partizan has anything to lose here. I mean, they are behind by 7 points, but they're kind of in a rebuilding phase with this team. They brought in a lot of foreign players, and a lot of those foreign players are a little bit older, and then they have a lot of youth off the bench. So going to be interesting to see what happens in that aspect. Actually, now that I am talking about it, Rakovic kind of has to start because he's the bonus player for Red Star. You have to have one player who's 21 or under, so Rakovic would have to be that player. For Partizan, I really don't know what that looks like. Again, they have a lot of youth on the bench, so we'll see what they go. And then when you come to the bench, Red Star has Kangwa coming off the bench. You have Stefan Mitrovic, you have Koulibaly, like I said. Azarovi played against Javor. I didn't think he was that bad at all, considering it was his first minutes. We'll see. There's a lot of players who come off the bench. Veljko Nikolic, who scored last match, great for him coming off an injury. We haven't won in Humska, which is where Partizan plays, in I believe it was 6.5 years now. And in the last 7 derbies at home, Partizan has scored first. So that's also something to keep an eye on. Getting this win would be great. You move to 10 points ahead of your rival. Now they've fallen far behind. Partizan also hasn't scored many goals this season. I think in 6 matches they have something like 9 goals, and they've conceded 4. To when you compare to Red Star, 25 goals and 2 conceded. So they don't score a lot. And like I said, the 2 goals that were at the depth were, match winners. So that's something that we really have to keep an eye on. What happens late on in the match, depending on what the score is, and the set pieces. Those are the 2 things that, kind of not worry me the most, but that we should focus on a lot. Like I said, Sonogo and I think Kanga should be, the CDM pairing there, because Sonogo gives you a little bit more defensively, a lot more defensively than Kangwa does. It's basically either Kanga or Kangwa, and I think Kanga, with his experience, should slot into that position. Like I said, Katai, I expect big things from him today. Milan Borjan, again, after conceding that goal against Maccabi Haifa, he looked pretty solid against Javor. So hopefully he keeps that going, and hopefully we can break this streak in Humska and get a win.